Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning in. Apologize for lack of a show last week. Had to go to Boulevard, Tennessee to go pick up a car for my wife. Meet some really cool people there, and ended up driving back in the rain. Took a while. Took about an hour and a half to get down there, but it took a lot longer getting back. We had really bad rainstorm, but yeah, so new vehicle. It's the cause of there not being a show last week. I should say new old vehicle. But there's a lot happened in those last 2 weeks. A lot to. I won't even attempt to cover everything that happened the last 2 weeks, but we had, as most of you already know, Tammy Sitch was arrested in a fatal car accident. So. Where she was a driver, it looks like she could be going away for a very long time, unfortunately. Just a long line of incidents with Tammy. Real sad story there. Ended up killing a person, and in my understanding, it wasn't even her car. It was, I believe it was her boyfriend's car that she used, and I think her license is still suspended at this point, so when you tack everything onto vehicular manslaughter, she could be going away for a really long time. And I just hope and pray she gets the help she needs, because that was kind of waiting to happen. Unfortunately, you kept seeing her go down a really bad path. That wasn't too long ago. She got arrested for I forget exactly what it was the charges were, but she was threatening somebody in a public place. I think it was like 2 counts of terrorism or something along those lines that she got arrested for. But hey, yeah, prayers go out to the family of the individual that died in that accident, and really bad incident there. That's much too bad. We had MVP turned on Bobby Lashley in WWE, which I'm full with, because it teams him up with Omos, and I think giving him a mouthpiece is the best thing that they could do for him, So I think that's the best way to go with that. And Bobby's turning baby face anyway. Yeah, face anyway. So I think it fits, and I think it's going to build Omos up, and I think he needs that right now, because the guy, there's a language barrier there, and he can't communicate real well in English, unfortunately. But that was, I think that was perfect teaming that they did. Had an emotional promo from Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania, should say. One of the things, though, that I'm really kind of upset with has been individuals within AEW and fans of AEW showing a lot of lack of class in their response to Cody showing up at WrestleMania and getting the response he did. Really, these people should be grateful for what they got. And, that intro, everything that he had, he built that himself. That wasn't property of AEW, and he put in a lot of work building that company, and he should be applauded for it. He did a great job, and put himself over for WrestleMania. Did a tremendous job, and really AEW fans and the people in AEW should be very grateful for that. I mean, Tony Khan kind of dismissing his departure from AEW is really kind of low class, I think, and he's been showing a lot of kind of chinks in the armor lately. I don't like the way he's been conducting himself. He's really been coming off as kind of a petulant child, rich boy, and it's not very endearing. I mean, as an AEW fan myself, I mean, it's really kind of distracting me from the product, because I do like the product more than WWE, I should say, and his attitude and his actions are really kind of distracting me and making me not want to follow the product. It's really bad. I mean, one of the reasons that I enjoyed the product so much was how they reacted to Brody Lee's death and how they carried themselves, and that was showed a lot of class and a lot of heart. And I'm seeing just the exact opposite of that now. I mean, they should be congratulating Cody on what he did. I hope they're doing it in private because he deserves it. He worked his butt off to get where he is, and he deserves what he got. So, and he himself in interviews has even said that he wasn't ready for a managerial position, whatnot. He wants to focus on wrestling now, and he excluded himself from the championship, the AEW championship pictures. So he admits that was kind of a mistake, and he did a great job. He built up that company really well, and to dismiss him as just another wrestler is really really pathetic, I think, and really low class. And people are calling him traitor online, yada yada yada. It's get over it, people. He did what he had to do. He made a business decision, and he bettered himself for it, and came back to a hero's welcome, and really was good. Put on a heck of a show. Put on the best match of entire WrestleMania. So, we had Samoa Joe's AEW debut, his first entrant in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Had Shida advance, yada yada yada. It was good seeing Samoa Joe. I'm a big fan of his too. And the following week we had The Miz interviewed Cody. I knew they'd get to The Miz versus Cody eventually. I'm kind of glad they got out of the way this quickly. I don't know if they're going to carry that over into something that includes, Brandy and Maurice. I don't know if they're going to go that direction. It would make sense if they went that direction, had a little mixed tag thing where hopefully Cody would destroy them. It's kind of makes sense because the fans have been talking about it, but get it out of the way and then he can go on to much bigger things because I do want them to continue Cody's momentum and eventually put him into the heavyweight picture. I have no problem if he eventually takes the belt off Roman Reigns. I think that would be great, or at least one of the belts. I don't know if they're going to keep this unified belt together or how that works. But yeah, and one thing I did hate from last week's at the Raw was the purple spotlight, that gimmick that they did for Damian Priest. I thought that was god awful and horrible when they interrupted the match and did that crap and then just ended it for no reason. I thought that was awful. And then last week we had on Dynamite we had the match with Samoa Joe to the main event that ended kind of oddly at the end. I mean, it was a fun match. I really enjoyed it. But when they had the I can't remember his name. That's horrible. The wrestler, the over 7 foot tall Indian wrestler that came out and put him in the claw. I mean, it's bad when, like I said, I can't even remember his name now. I know he's with Ring of Honor, but it's bad when your own announcers don't know who it is and they're asking who it is. That's not what should be happening. It was kind of an anticlimactic, but it finished okay. They're finding ways to mix in the Ring of Honor titles, and he currently holds the television title, so you have to defend the television title on television. So they're going to do it on AEW. He was Minoru Suzuki. Wow, I couldn't even remember who his opponent was. That's who it was. They had that slap fest, which that was fun. It was kind of fun, but it got a little redundant after a while. It was like, okay, where do we go from here? They both kind of looked at each other like that, like, where do we go from here? But like I said, that ending night was a little odd, and then having Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt came out, but it's like they're trying to shoehorn the Ring of Honor elements into AEW television right now, and it looks like a mess right now. But there's a lot of rumors going around that the announcement that Tony Khan is going to have this big epic announcement is going to be some sort of television deal for Ring of Honor. I don't even know if they have to do that. I mean, they could put it right on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Ring of Honor being like their feeder system or their lower tier kind of minor leagues, you know, kind of the way NXT is for WWE, and I think why not? You know, the one thing that Ring of Honor, and I've said this a million times in the past, brings to AEW is a lineage. It brings a heritage. It has history, which AEW doesn't. So that kind of honors that. They're not integrating the product the way that they really should be doing right now, because either you integrate it or you put it on a separate program. And right now they're doing neither. They're just kind of throwing stuff randomly at see what sticks at the wall, and it's really kind of making a jumbled mess right now. So I'm hoping they fix that in the future and get things together. Because it's kind of making for bad booking right now. And then Saturday we had AEW Battle of the Belts 2. Actually, this is a previous at the Dynamite. We had Adam Page versus Adam Cole, which was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. I'm hoping this is the end of the feud for them, Adam versus Adam, and I'm hoping they start booking Adam Page better than they have, because I'm an Adam Page fan, and his booking has been absolutely horrible with AEW so far. I mean, it was good until they put the belt on him. And now it's like they don't know what to do with this guy. I mean, he was fun when he was the drunk cowboy character, or he was with the Dark Order or whatnot, you know, and they kind of stripped that from him. And now he's kind of a lackluster character. You know, all the things that made him enjoyable are kind of gone. And he seems kind of aimless. He just kind of shows up every now and then, defends the title, and then walks away. Then you don't see him for a couple weeks. It's bad booking. They need to at least have him cut some promos or do something to keep him in the limelight and keep his story relevant, because there's some people out there that don't even realize he's the AEW champion right now, and that's not good for a company when you can't even name their champion. So yeah, it might be time to actually get the belt off of him, but I hope not, because I really do like Hangman Adam Page, and I think he deserves the belt. But man, you got booking better than you've been doing, because creatively there's like nothing for him, it seems like, you know. But yeah, like Saturday on to the we had Battle of the Belts, and you know, Sammy Guevara retook the belt. Took the TNT Championship. I don't like where they're going with Sammy Guevara's character, because once again, it just seems like a garbled mess. He seemed, ever since the Inner Circle is dissolved, he just seems aimless. He just goes out there with Ted Conti, and it's a mess. He really needs to define that character a lot more. I don't even know who the heck this character is or what it is, but because he kind of comes off with like a spoiled brat too. He kind of comes off like Tony Khan in some ways, but he took the belt off of Scorpio Sky, and you know, good match as always. But now what do you do with Scorpio Sky? I thought he was a strong belt holder. They should have had him retain it for a lot longer, maybe even prolong this feud. You know, they could have gotten a few more good matches out of the deal. You know, I don't know if maybe Scorpio Sky tries to challenge back for the belt. I have no problem with that. I think at this point I'd rather see a belt on him. At least he kind of has a character going. You know, with Lambert and everything. I mean, he looks better as a champion than Guevara does, kind of at this point, you know. And now it looks like they're setting up some kind of feud between Paige Van Zandt and Ty Conte, which I can totally be down for that. I think that would be a heck of a match. Two very skilled martial artists, and I think and extremely athletic. I think they could put in a good match. But yeah, like I said, way too much to cover. It happened the last couple of weeks, but I did get to see, did get to enjoy seeing Dalton Castle make his premiere. Obviously, he's still on AEW, going for the championship, which, like I said, he's really talented. Talented wrestler, and I enjoyed his work in ROH previously, I should say. But that was a good match, and once again with the whole thing with ROH, I can't even remember who their champion is right now. Jonathan Gresham. But those two put on a good match. But man, Gresham is 5'4". What? How do you put a championship belt on a guy that's 5'4"? He's a heck of a wrestler, and I think he even got hurt or one of the two got hurt during that match. But I mean, when they had him in there with he just looks like I'm trying to refrain from using certain words, but he looks very vertically challenged. Really weird, but I mean, like I said, of course, the guy is a heck of a wrestler, and it was good seeing Dalton Castle again. That was really cool. And he's retaining his gimmick with the boys and everything. I didn't know if they wore that down a little bit, but they continued with that lines, and that was that worked. So I was happy to see that. But yeah, and then we had the match with Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose. Probably the best Nyla Rose match I've seen. She is getting a lot better in the ring, thank God, because she looked so dangerous early on in her career. And I was really, especially being transgender, I was really scared that she was going to cripple somebody in that ring because she looked really sloppy early on in her career. But Thunder Rose managed to get a pretty good match out of her, and it wasn't bad. And, I'm glad to see Thunder Rosa retain. That was, I'm happy to see her having the belt, even though I really did enjoy Britt Baker's run as champion. She did a great job, but now it's Thunder Rosa's turn. I'm happy to see that. I mean, so we got a lot of stuff going on in wrestling right now. Like I said, it's an exciting time. WWE has kind of been a little bit of a lull since WrestleMania. I'm glad they paired up like Damian Priest with Edge, and there's rumors going around that Rhea Ripley's going to be joining the fold too, which I wholeheartedly support. I think that would be a great faction, a great wrestling group right there. But like I said earlier, when they did that stupid gimmick with Damian Priest with the purple spotlight and all that garbage, I hope they don't continue to do that. I don't know if they're going for some supernatural gimmick or some nonsense like that, but I really am hoping that they discontinue that in a hurry, because it just looked hokey and it looked dumb. And with no explanation or nothing around it, it just came off horrible. And the match just kind of ended there. I hated it, so I'm hoping that they do away with that. And but I do like the teaming with him and Edge. The only problem is their promos so far haven't been like the kind of spooky, intimidating kind of thing that Edge did previously with AJ, and they need to return to that, kind of do more of a brood like kind of Ministry of Darkness thing about them, because that's the image that they're portraying, so they need to continue that, because he kind of did more of a rated R superstar Edge type, and it doesn't fit with the persona currently, so they need to tweak that and get that going. But I think I think it will be good eventually. I think Edge will figure it out, and hopefully they get some better matches down the road, because out of the WrestleMania matches, as I was really looking forward to Edge versus AJ Styles, and I don't know if my expectations were way too high, but I thought the match came off really lackluster and kind of phoned in. I'm hoping they do a much better job with that, but I mean, like I said, it's an exciting time. Looking forward to Raw tonight. Looking forward to AEW. I'm hoping they tighten that ship up a lot more, and Tony Khan kind of gets his act together, gets a PR guy, because a lot of stuff he's been releasing to the press and a lot of things he's been tweeting, he's just coming off his class list, along with a lot of the other AEW wrestlers. It's kind of making me not enjoy the product as much as I used to, because I thought that this was more like a family type thing. They can talk about Cody Rhodes and think that they quote unquote betrayed him all they want, but they've got to understand that he's doing what's best for him and his family, and to come back on WrestleMania the way that he did and put on the show that he did, I don't care who you are, you've got to applaud that. You really have got to applaud that, because he did a tremendous job, and his speech afterwards, referencing his father, Dusty, really, I love Dusty Rhodes. He was one of my favorites, and you can't argue with that. Putting the belt on, because he wasn't going to get a championship belt at AEW. At least not a heavyweight championship belt. And even if he did, what kind of significance and meaning would it have for Dusty? Really, the title that he deserved and should have captured was the WWE Championship. He had the NWA, whatnot, but there's a man that, you go down the list, Dusty Rhodes, Jake Roberts, etc. People who should have had the title run. And for me, he's at the very top of the list. And Cody coming back to kind of honor that memory and to wanting to put the belt in his father's hands for him, you can't get much more motivation than that. And that kind of explains why he did what he did. And it makes me feel a little bit better about the transition from AEW to WWE, because initially I was kind of like, wow, is this a money grab? What's he doing? But when you put it in terms of that, it brings his image in a much better light and puts him into a much better what's the word I'm looking for? A much better stance as far as I'm concerned. Bring into the fold his father's memory and whatnot, and his reasoning for coming back to WWE, because you think about it, he sacrificed a lot. He was an officer at AEW. He had 2 shows on TNT and TBS. He had 2 shows, Roads to Riches and that big show there. So he gave up a lot to come to WWE, and you gotta respect that. And I respect that, and I'm glad he put on the tremendous show that he did. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in the future and what he's going to do. And I hope he does eventually get the belt. I hope they do put the belt on him. I think that's going to be a tremendous moment, maybe at SummerSlam, and I think that'll be a real tearjerker, a real tremendous moment. And I'm hoping they'll allow Dustin to be part of that too, even though he's with AEW. I know they won't, but it'd be nice to have him to be able to share somehow in that glory, because obviously he never got the belt, and to be able to say they did that for the father would be tremendous. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on recent things that have happened in wrestling. I know there's a ton more. Next week is going to be a lot more organized, just because I won't have to try to condense a couple of weeks worth of stuff into one show. But like I said, my wife's happy that she has a car, so we had to kind of skip over last week's show. And here's hoping that everybody out there is doing well. Before I forget, prayers going out to the Ukrainian people. Please don't forget them. Please continue to send support, send prayers, send money to valid organizations like the Red Cross who can go help them and try to get them supplies and take care of the refugees and whatnot. So please continue to keep them in your hearts and minds and continue to support them because they desperately need it. And the way that they're fighting off the Russian invasion is just absolutely tremendous and should be applauded in every way, shape, or form. And they've lost thousands of lives, and for no other reason than greed and someone trying to restore the Soviet Union, which is horrible. There's no reason for it, other than ego, and it's a horrible thing. And please continue to pray for them and send support, please. Please. Other than that, there's not a whole lot left with the show. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank, let me think here. What do I want to do first? Lucky Lady Candles. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out on Etsy. Go buy their products. It's a good time anytime for candles. I think Mother's Day is coming up. What day is Mother's Day on this year? Jeez. But even if it's not for that, birthdays, anything, you can buy candles. But Sunday, May 8th is Mother's Day, so wow, that's coming up real quickly. Glad I looked at that. Maybe I'll be buying some candles. Fortunately, we can't really do too much with the cats here, but yeah, check them out. Lucky Lady Candles. Check out Then and Now Flea Market in downtown Trenton, Tennessee. You can go down, buy some used items, buy some new items, buy some handmade items. There's a bunch of different vendors, which my wife and I have a booth there. And you can go down and pick up one of my CDs. You can go down and pick some handmade items for my wife and support a local great vendors, great artists, and business owners. Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, Tennessee. You can't miss it. And shout out to us, Crushing Kayfabe, Crushing with a K. Go to crushingkayfabe.com. And you can find our various social media links from there. You can find out what's going on and keep track of us in crushingkayfabe.com. And while you're at it, check out patreon.com. Do a search for Crushing Kayfabe, Crushing with a K. And for just $1 a month, you can support the show and you can listen to the show without any type of commercials. So for $1 a month, you can keep our lights on, help us produce a show, and you're supporting small businesses while you're doing it. So check that out. Patreon.com. Search for Crushing Kayfabe, Crushing with a K. And aside from that, I think that's all that I have for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless and be safe out there. Thank you.